Remember that Ethan was already going after all these people. The CPS and Skulls incidents just gave him the justification he needed to escalate. On June 19th, Ethan announced in a video.
Wow, who would think something so stupid? Who would ever think something so stupid? That CPS is an explicit justification to escalate. Who would ever think something so stupid? Who would ever say something so stupid?
The time to escalate. No, I'm sorry. You only get to do this for so long. No, it's the time for lawsuits. It's the time to escalate. It's the time to go for blood. No, it absolutely is. I'm sorry.
Information instead of
Titled "I'm suing these 3 creators," that he had registered his content nuke video on Hassan with the US Copyright Office, a move that federally protects the work from infringers. He went on to name Denims, Frogan, and Kaceytron as the 3 targets for newly filed copyright infringement lawsuits. To me, this is sort of the culmination of Ethan's feud with the Hassan sphere. He says he was laying a trap for certain creators, and claims he knew they'd react to his video with minimal commentary and essentially steal his content.
It's not that I wanted these people to steal my video, it's that I knew they would. I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion.
I don't even know what that last part means, by the way. Like, what, they should have waited a few days to watch your video? Like, what was he even trying to say there? Regardless, his cases do seem pretty strong. Specifically, Kaceytron and Frogan's reactions to the content nuke appear pretty short and lacking in meaningful commentary, and the primary defense against copyright infringement, which is fair use, likely wouldn't work for them. But in classic Ethan Klein fashion, he's been extremely dishonest about his intentions and what these lawsuits are actually about. For starters, Ethan claims in his video that his entire mission is to fight against content theft and stand up to lazy React streamers.
Why should these content thieves, essentially, get more views than the author of the video, which in a lot of cases was happening? I mean, people don't like injustice, and we all see this, and no, it's not right.
But his criteria for who he decided to sue was a little more specific than just those who watched the content nuke in full.
There were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. These people not only violated all of the principles of fair use, they also did it maliciously. And that's the part that really got me. It's the stated malicious intent to steal.
And I suggest you all watch it through other people as well.
If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein.
So Ethan is targeting people who maliciously reacted by openly stating that they wanted to avoid supporting his channel. And to a lot of people, that makes sense. Go after the people who were trying to harm your channel. But the problem is that both legally and logically, the concept of a quote malicious reaction is kind of fucking incoherent. So legally, any focus on malice in a copyright lawsuit would be a misapplication of copyright law. In US copyright law, especially when arguing for fair use, intent or malice.
Yeah, so it's it's statutory, right? It's just about the offense. It's not about the intent. It's not actually, it doesn't matter whether you intended to be nice when you were reacting. It's still copyright infringement.
Has pretty much nothing to do with whether infringement has actually occurred. The primary test for fair use focuses on 4 factors, mainly whether the work has been sufficiently transformed by adding new meaning or commentary. But intent or malice is not one of those 4 factors. Someone could be completely unaware that material they're using is even copyrighted, and they can still be found guilty of infringement. Malice might come into play later when determining damages, but legally, it's completely irrelevant to whether anyone's guilty of copyright infringement. And logically, Ethan's focus on malice doesn't really make sense either. Look at it this way. If somebody steals your property, whatever they say they're doing isn't really relevant. If someone steals a bike from your front yard and rides away saying, "It's okay, I'm not stealing it, I'm just riding it," they're still stealing your bike. They're receiving all the benefits of theft, and you're experiencing all the harm of it, regardless of what they said they were doing.
5 Canadian outposts with the lemon and lime character relaxing on a beach. Thank you.
React content, it's the same thing. If you watch someone's entire video on stream, you've taken their content and given your audience a version they can watch instead of the original. Whether you say, "I'm stealing your viewers," or you say, "I love this creator,"
I love this
change
creator.
what you're doing. The only thing that matters here is whether or not your coverage adds enough to the original video to make it a fundamentally different product, which would mean you're no longer stealing.
Right.
And furthermore, everyone who reacts to an entire video on stream with minimal commentary knows that that's what's happening. They know their audience is watching through them instead of going to the original. That's not a secret. That's how the genre works.
We all watch both, don't we, guys? bias. We all watched bias.
So if somebody knows they're stealing viewers and they choose to do it anyway, isn't that
Maybe the membership was AI.
literally the definition of malice? So then what's the difference between what these 3 women did and anyone else who gave a low-effort reaction to the content nuke? Well, materially, there isn't one. All of them willfully
Ethan
chose
really
to
doesn't
deprive
like
Ethan's
them, that's
channel of potential viewers. The only difference is Denims, Frogan, and Kaceytron said those words out loud. I do want to briefly point out that I'm not even really sure that Denims or Kaceytron did in fact openly state an intent to steal views. I know Ethan's convinced everyone that that's what happened, but look at what they actually said. Denims responded to a chatter saying they wanted to watch the content nuke through someone else, and simply confirms that she is in fact going to react to it, which isn't really malicious. At the end of the video, she makes the comment from earlier. If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, etc. That's not really malicious intent either. The video is already over, and it's simply an acknowledgement that some people were there for that reason. Same thing with Kaceytron. A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. That's not really a statement of intent, it's just kind of a fact. And that's all she said. So is this really them saying they're trying to steal Ethan's views? I'm not really convinced of that. They seem more like statements of awareness about the market for boycotting Ethan Klein's channel. But let's leave that aside. Let's say these were explicit statements of malicious intent. There's another creator who Ethan is not suing who did the exact same thing. XQC proudly admitted that he is stealing Ethan's content during his reaction.
Yeah, so he literally says, we're watching. Thank you for the 5 Canadian Al Plus. Huge appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I actually admitted watching. I admitted watching. People think reacting on stream? No. Watching. I'm not reacting to this. I'm watching this. What about it?
If Ethan actually cared
What
about
about
Lazy
it, bro?
React's
What
content,
about it?
XQC
Sue
is a
me.
prime example of somebody he should be going after. He reacted to the content nuke in full with minimal commentary. He's got a massive audience, and he's openly admitted he doesn't care about intellectual property. To Ethan.
So in that regard, do you care at all about like IP or copyright? Does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if flat out doesn't.
During that same debate, Ethan specifically called out XQC for using deceptive thumbnails, taking the original creator's thumbnail and slapping his face on it to confuse audiences and siphon views.
The fact that you're using the same title and the same thumbnail is so parasitic, it's so shady. You are only doing that to siphon off views and confuse people. There's no other reason for that.
But that's exactly what XQC did with the content nuke. By Ethan's own standards, XQC should
literally, right there, dude.
That's exactly what XQC did with the content nuke. By Ethan's own standards, XQC should be the first person he would go after. But when he watches him proudly admitting to stealing his property, he has only nice things to say.
I'm not reacting to this. I'm watching this. What about it?
And listen, I respect it, man. I acknowledge you.
We hear you.
I
Like
acknowledge you
such
as
a
the
cock,
king of
man. Totally fucking cocked. Raped by the worm. Raped by the watch. Literally started getting into watches because XQC mogged him and was like, I got your house on my wrist. I got your house on my wrist. And then Diorio gets into it too, man. That's the saddest part. That's the saddest part.
of this shit.
So is Ethan just a pussy who won't go after someone that has the money to fight back? Yes. But more importantly, this shows that the lawsuits have nothing to do with malice or lazy React content or protecting intellectual property. This is just a targeted attack on specific people that Ethan doesn't like, which is not really what the court system is meant for. And of the people Ethan is suing, Denims is the clearest example of just how bad faith he's being here. I mean, Ethan spends his entire announcement video talking about the harm of lazy React streamers, like people who walk away from the video and leave it playing.
The problem seems to have only gotten worse. You have people like Hassan Piker paving the way of fair use with what's known as chair reacts, when Hassan gets up, disappears for an extended period of time, and leaves the video playing for his chair. Mr. Chair, they call it.
But Denims'
He's
reaction
watching on
to
his
the
phone.
content
Give him a
nuke was
break.
nothing like that. The content nuke itself is less than 2 hours long, and Denims' reaction to it is almost 4 hours long. And according to Ethan's own standard, that should qualify as being transformative.
My reacting to Ian's content cop, which I finished in, my total reaction was probably what, like 5 hours or something in total? Maybe less, 4. And his was an hour and a half. I think that sounds pretty reasonable. That's like taking 2 times more than the original.
Yeah, what does he want the son to do? Starve? You want him to starve? You want him to just sit there in his chair and not eat all day? Oh, okay, fine. I guess son has to starve then. I guess
time, which seems like a good amount to contribute to have proper commentary, right?
So again, by his own measure of what fair use is, Denims sufficiently transformed his video, which should mean she didn't really steal anything. So why then is Ethan still suing her?
Curious.
Ethan
Could he be suing of something else as well?
had a problem. He wanted to sue Denims, but as of right now, there really isn't that much legal precedent for full-length live react content like this, so it's pretty unclear whether Denims' reaction to the content nuke would legally be found to be an infringement on copyright, especially given the length and added commentary. And because Ethan couldn't know for sure, he decided to hedge.
Some of you guys out there sweating?
He didn't just register the content nuke with the US Copyright Office. He also registered the countdown stream that led up to it on the H3 podcast, which Denims did watch live. And her reaction to this countdown stream is far less likely to fall under fair use.
Dude,
but
this is so crazy. Obviously, I've spoken about this a lot, but yeah, he registers this later on.
Given the length and added commentary, and because Ethan couldn't know for sure, he decided to hedge.
Some of you guys out there sweating?
He didn't just register the content nuke with the US Copyright Office. He also registered the countdown stream that led up to it on the H3 podcast, which Denims did watch live. And her reaction to this countdown stream is far less likely to fall under fair use. But the problem is this countdown stream doesn't seem like it's what Ethan was talking about when he expressed wanting to protect people's content. In his announcement video, he repeatedly mentions long-form content and uses Lamino, whose videos likely take weeks or months to make, as an example of unfairness.
What if I could make a long-form,
Obviously, the point that's being made in this video is about prepared long-form content. It's about edited stuff. It's not about your fucking live streams. It's not about some stupid countdown where you've got a ticker on the screen. It was obviously about long-form, prepared, edited content, because that's what he knew was a winning topic. So he just hides the fact that they're suing over the countdown episode as well.
Irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist. They couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published.
So he's clearly making it sound like he's talking about video essays and things with high production quality, not some countdown stream. He specifically talks about Denims here as though she reacted to the content nuke itself with no commentary.
I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary. After being gone for a few minutes, she returns and then sits silently for another couple of minutes eating.
But he doesn't mention the countdown stream a single time. It's almost like he doesn't want you to realize that he is completely spite-driven and full of shit.
You're lying.
Maybe I am, so what?
And here's what makes that super obvious. Ethan didn't even register the countdown stream with the content nuke back in January. He did it in March, 2 months later. What happened in March that would make Ethan want to be sure he could go after Denims?
That it seems like she's directly responsible for CPS coming to my house in the morning and interviewing my children.
These basically are not even really copyright lawsuits. It's quite obvious that Ethan just came up with a way to use the legal system against his personal enemies. And the ultimate goal of his plan was to threaten them with something that they couldn't fight back against. Take Kaceytron and Frogan, for instance. These two have pretty small audiences. They could not have meaningfully impacted Ethan's income at all. But Ethan is pursuing statutory damages, meaning his payout wouldn't be based on any actual lost revenue, but a fixed amount that the court decides upon, and could be up to $150,000. He's also asking for attorney's fees and prejudgment interest, just for good measure. This is Ethan applying the absolute maximum amount of financial pressure possible. He's not really trying to right a wrong. He's trying to make the cost of defense so high that they don't actually have a choice. Kaceytron, for instance, expressed concern about losing her home as a result of the lawsuit. And when she's facing that level of
people want to act like, oh, what do you want? You want people with money just never be able to sue anyone ever? You try to take people with money's rights away? You try to take rich people's rights away and stop them from ever suing anyone ever? As if, like, you have to go out and file malicious lawsuits. That's like a need of yours. That's something that Ethan absolutely has to do, is go and file malicious, personally vindictive lawsuits.
Financial threat. She doesn't realistically have the option of trying to prove whether she's right or wrong. She's probably gonna just decide to not risk losing her house, which is likely why Kaceytron was the first of the 3 defendants to resolve her case. The 2 parties settled in December, and as part of that settlement, she was required to deliver an on-stream apology, a statement which consisted of roughly 26 seconds discussing the importance of copyright, followed by almost 3 minutes of things like this.
I also want to make clear that I did not receive any support, financial or otherwise, from Hassan Piker. Hassan never even reached out to me privately to offer—
Oh, Hassan, Jesus Christ. Hassan is currently shilling the video live. He is currently shilling the video live.
For words of support. I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge other misconduct and bad behavior I have exhibited online. For example, weaponizing the death of Asmongold's mother was inexcusable. AB, along with his wife Lena, have done more than I have ever done for the Palestinian people. I apologize to Ethan and Hila personally. I have said extremely mean and cruel things about both of them. I also want to acknowledge the pervasive problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces. It should concern all of us.
Like, dude.
I condemn it and will not participate in it. To that end, I wish the clients success in enforcing TED Entertainment's copyright and protecting the legal rights of online content creators.
Ethan claims that these lawsuits weren't about the money, and he did this to protect the wider commentary community.
Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, the purpose of this is not financial gain. I don't want to chill the reaction community into...
How are people on Ethan's side after this hostage video? Well, because they have like the mindset of like rapists and child molesters, and they like seeing people weaken them in uncomfortable positions where they can't fight back, basically.
Fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
But when he was able to point a dollar bill-shaped gun at Kaceytron's head and force her to say whatever he wanted, even his intellectual property became an afterthought. He was almost exclusively interested in humiliating her, sucking up to Asmongold, dunking on Hassan, and otherwise just trying to win his little interpersonal online battles. Oh, and then boldly fucking lying afterwards that he had sympathy for Kaceytron and that the apology was genuine.
I think ultimately her apology was heartfelt and sincere.
You would have to be a total idiot to actually believe that.
It's incredibly stressful, both emotionally and financially, to go through a lawsuit.
It is,
Everybody
and I
knows
appreciate
that.
the situation she's been in.
You're the one putting strain on her situation. Ethan even made Kaceytron declare her willingness to help him pursue the H3 Snark moderators, who he claims colluded with the defendants to promote their streams.
For the record, I have agreed to cooperate with the clients in their litigation against the H3 Snark mods for promoting my live stream to the extent that I am able.
But his evidence for this is just this Reddit post listing publicly announced streams that were going to be reacting to the content nuke.
She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views, and their intentions couldn't be clearer.
But there's been no evidence presented of any two-way communication between the defendants and H3 Snark. So Ethan's even using these coerced statements to promote narratives about his enemies that he likely doesn't even have evidence for. Which means that these totally spite-driven copyright lawsuits are being weaponized to compel the speech of the people that Ethan is feuding with, and all of it is in service of simply managing his online reputation.
Yeah, it's just trying to astroturf like a win in drama, basically. And like I keep saying, rats like the Oreo going along with it for the whole last year. Seriously, I'd like to see anyone actually contest the arguments in this video. The Oreo would be a total fucking mess trying to do it. Imagine him trying to figure his way through this. Trying to explain, dude, you saw him try and figure out how long Denims' reaction was compared to his, where he was trying to figure out whether what was it? Whether 230 minutes was longer than 3 hours or not. And he couldn't figure it. He's like, dude, I owned her. My reaction's way longer. My reaction's like 3 hours. That's way longer than 230 minutes. Imagine him trying to argue this video. There's a reason he won't watch it.
And even if you hate Hassan and Denims and all these people, what Ethan is doing here should repulse you, because it's extremely clear that his announcement video, the forced apology, his acceptance of the apology, this entire situation was a lie. And he lied because Ethan knows what he's doing is fucked up. He knows it's wrong to abuse the court to litigate personal grievances, so he has to pretend to be doing it for some greater purpose.
I mean, people don't like injustice, and we all see this and know it's not right. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Ethan, don't settle. Bleed her bank account bone dry. That's not my intention. My intention is just to obviously stand up for what's right.
But that's obviously not what's happening. None of what Ethan is doing will help the React community. These cases won't establish any helpful legal precedent, and he's not even setting a social precedent against blatantly stealing content, because he's letting the most long-time egregious offenders off the hook. The precedent that Ethan is setting is that wealthy creators can use the threat of litigation to suppress the speech of people they dislike. And despite Ethan claiming he wants to avoid a chilling effect,
I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear.
This will establish a totally different kind of one. Spite-driven lawsuits like this threaten the entire foundation of online commentary. Healthy internet ecosystems thrive on creators engaging with each other's work. Commentary, criticism, live reactions, whether positive or negative, these things expose audiences to new creators, generate more content, and keep the space dynamic and interesting. Creators respond to each other, build off each other's ideas, and issue criticisms. But weaponizing the legal system over personal beef undermines all of that. And Ethan knows it. That's the reason he's doing it. Maybe if there were a legitimate
that's
standard
just
that
absolutely
Ethan was
true.
trying
Literally
to
just
correct,
absolutely
then I
true.
could get behind him.
Totally
But that isn't
undeniable.
what's happening. He didn't go after everyone who actually stole his property. He didn't go after people who meaningfully affected his income. He didn't even go after the people who actually set the current standards for the thing he claims to be concerned about. He went after 3 small-scale creators.
Augie? 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 Where are you, Augie? Where are you, Augie? I hear there's a 30-minute video about your boy in this... That 30-minute segment about your boy in this video. Augie? Augie? Stream soon? Stream soon?
That he hates. And he's using his vastly superior wealth to force them to say whatever he wants, attacking his enemies, making political statements they likely don't believe, and humiliating themselves publicly.
I love just... Dude, it was so funny. Well, it was... what was it? It was, dude, I can't remember what it was. What was the last thing I said Augie was sweeping about? Was it the healer impression? I think it was related to that. And then he goes on stream and he's talking about it. And he's like, I'm in his chat, just like all capsing, and you just see him like awkwardly, like, dude, leave me alone. Funny. Why do people? It's crazy, man, that Nick and Augie and all these guys actually get like super. Even Chud, to be honest, get super het up about sweeping allegations. If you say sweeping around these guys, it is like, you know, it is, you know, they feel like their life's in danger. They feel like their lives in danger.
To your face about what he's actually doing. And the thing is, it doesn't matter whether Kaceytron is a good person or whether she said shitty things about people. It doesn't matter what Denims or Frogan have done in the past. What matters is whether you think someone with money should be able to abuse the court to silence their enemy's speech and expression, because that is the standard Ethan is setting. Not a standard about transformation, not one about protecting intellectual property. It's just the standard of don't piss off Ethan Klein. And if you're not disgusted by that notion, you should be. Ethan would be.
In this country, we value free speech. And what a reaction video ultimately is free speech.
I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video, I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine.
Fair use doesn't give a shit if you watch the video first or not. I didn't watch this video first.
I knew they would watch the entire video, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion.
I have to show that I've watched it.
It's literally, it's crazy. It's one-to-one contradictions.
Try to drive traffic to the original video. I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine.
Fair use doesn't give a shit if you watch the video first or not. I didn't watch this video first.
I knew they would watch the entire video, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion.
I have to show that I've watched it before and thought, well, I have something good to add. I didn't watch your video beforehand, bro.
A long-form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist. They couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published.
It's speech, bro. I don't need anyone's permission to say anything.
You can't just say whatever you want. You can't just say, I'm in favor of genocide. You gotta watch what you say. I'm not standing by this shit anymore.
And I'm gonna call out people like Brendan too, because this is just bad for everyone. And it's especially egregious considering the hypocrisy of the whole free speech thing that these guys apparently love so well.
Free speech! You go to free speech. Shut up, dumbass.
You're shutting down criticism and you're pretending like it's a copyright issue. It's not. It's fair use. It's protected speech.
This isn't a free speech issue. This is people are fucking getting way too comfortable slandering and saying whatever they want about people online under the guise of free speech.
There's lots of videos shitting on me on the internet. You know, I wish I could just delete them off the internet. You know, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be just convenient? But you know what? You can't do it. That's free speech.
Right.
You know, and free speech is tested when it's targeted at you.
You can't just say whatever the fuck you want. It's time to start holding people accountable for the shit they're saying.
What do you even say? This is just so fucking like, and this should be obvious as well. Everyone's heard Ethan say all this shit. The idea that people can't put fucking 2 and 2 together and just recognize where the obvious contradictions are on their own is so fucking damning. It's crazy. The fact the Oreo has gotten away for so long with sweeping for this shit is crazy. When he's got all these same quotes too, Trust me, he's got all these same quotes too.
You're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine.
Fair use doesn't give a shit if you watch the video first or not. I didn't watch this video first.
I knew they would watch the entire video, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion.
I have to show that I've watched it before and thought, well, I have something good to add. I didn't watch your video beforehand, bro.
A long-form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist. They couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published.
It's speech, bro. I don't need anyone's permission to say anything.
You can't just say whatever you want. You can't just say, I'm in favor of genocide. You gotta watch what you say. I'm not standing by this shit anymore.
And I'm gonna call out people like Brendan too, because this is just bad for everyone. And it's especially egregious considering the hypocrisy of the whole free speech thing that these guys apparently love so well.
Free speech! You go to free speech. Shut up, dumbass.
You're shutting down criticism and you're pretending like it's a copyright issue. It's not. It's fair use. It's protected speech.
This isn't a free speech issue. This is people are fucking getting way too comfortable slandering and saying whatever they want about people online under the guise of free speech.
There's lots of videos shitting on me on the internet. You know, I wish I could just delete them off the internet. You know, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be just convenient? But you know what? You can't do it. That's free speech. You know, and free speech is tested when it's targeted at you.
You can't just say whatever the fuck you want. It's time to start holding people accountable for the shit they're saying.
I fight every day to protect free speech. I put my money on the line, I go to court, and I'll do it as many times as I need to.
You guys have been doing this for years. It's the jig is up. You're gonna have to tell it to a judge, literally.
By the way, this guy likes threatening to sue people. All over fair use and my right to free speech.
And if I wanted to sue you, I probably could fucking ruin your whole life. It'll be great to sue them. I'd love to sue her. I'd love to sue him. I'm gonna sue you. It's not a threat. I'm going to sue you.
We get to pursue legal fees for this garbage, anti-free speech lawsuit.
And to all the detractors who are saying that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say. I don't care.
It's easy to defend free speech when it's got nothing to do with you, right? When it makes you look good. But when free speech makes you look bad, then let's see how much you defend it.
But the moment online criticism became too difficult for him to handle, all of those principles went out the window. And not only has he completely abandoned those principles, he's become the thing that he spent so much of his career complaining about. As an example, look at the initial complaints for the lawsuits. These were over 80 pages long and contained things like a comparison between Hassan and Haj Amin al-Husseini, a notable Nazi collaborator during World War II. And
so
yeah,
crazy,
this is clearly
right?
partially intended to waste opposing counsel's time and rack up the defendant's legal fees. But Ethan's been on the receiving end of litigation like this before.
He's doing a spite lawsuit trying to ruin our lives. And God forbid I actually fight back against a fucking total fraudulent copyright lawsuit. Well, fuck you, bro.
Or how he spent the last 2 years complaining about online harassment. But in the versions of these complaints that Ethan linked under his announcement video, he censored his lawyer's contact information, obviously to try to prevent harassment. But he did nothing to protect the identities of the 3 defendants, which were previously not widely known.
Bro, so what would you call this, guys, when you intentionally publish information knowing, likely intending for that information to be more widely available to those who might want to do that person harm? What would you call that? What would you call it? Yeah, unmasking, phone booking, journalism. There's a few names I can think of for it. That's
I mean, sure, court filings are public, but then why censor anything at all? Ethan knew what he was trying to protect his lawyer from, but he declined to try to offer that same protection to the defendants and published it to millions of people. I don't know if most people would think of this as doxing, but I don't know what else to call it. And if that is what this was, we shouldn't be surprised.
I mean, it just is. It just is doxing. They took the legal document, they censored his lawyer's information, and then they published it, not censoring the opposing counsel's information. That shows a clear intent. I'm sorry, that does. You are showing, you know, there could be harm done to people whose information is shared in these documents. You've chosen to create a copy, a new version. It's not the version publicly available on Court Listener. It's a new version for Internet Archive. It's a download. They have the copy. Censor lawyer's information. Choose not to censor the very nearby opposing counsel information. Post it. That's doxing. That's doxing.
Ethan has clearly shown time and time again that he has no standards of any kind. I mean, like back during the Matt Haas lawsuit, I can't speak for everybody, but I supported Ethan. Yes, partially because of fair use, but also because it was obvious that Matt Haas simply didn't like that someone was making fun of him. It was clearly a case of someone abusing copyright law to go after their enemies. But now that's Ethan.
Sorry, my digital redaction pen just ran out. Sorry, I'm shaking my digital redaction pen. right now. You hear that? There's no ink left.
And he's like this with everything. He condemns things when they work against him, but he's perfectly fine with them when they work for him. Like, he considers it harassment when people contact his sponsors over his own controversial statements, but it's totally fine to contact sponsors when he decides it's okay.
It must be nice to be racist, openly racist, bigoted, and Twitch does nothing. Capcom, Samsung, and Chevron should absolutely know about what kind of content Twitch is putting in front of their logo.
Or how he thinks snark is the worst possible thing on the internet, but he didn't have a problem with it when it was someone else. His own community is basically Hassan's snark at this point, and they're just mimicking his own behavior.
And he's the type of guy that keeps his girlfriend a secret. I'll just spill the beans. I don't care at all about him. I asked, I said, why do you keep your relationship with Valkyrie a secret? And it was his decision.
He likes everybody dreaming
son.
of being
W
with
son.
him.
That's obviously why.
He hates people bringing up personal, sensitive stuff, like talking about his dead dog, but he'll readily reveal intimate, private details about people whenever he wants. Seriously, how do you think Ethan would react?
Yeah, this Hassan guy is like totally fucking awesome and makes his girlfriend like not say they're together in public so that he can appear single. Okay, Ethan. All right. Yeah, I'd much rather have an ugly Israeli wife. You're right. No, you're right.
2026, if someone made an entire website dedicated to comparing him to, I don't know, how about convicted sensitive stuff, like talking about his dead dog, but he'll readily reveal intimate, private details about people whenever he wants. Seriously, how do you think Ethan would react in 2026 if someone made an entire website?
Dude, so this is it. This is a huge moment for the video here, guys.
Seriously, how do you think Ethan would react in 2026 if someone made an entire website dedicated to comparing him to, I don't know, how about convicted mass murderer and child rapist John Wayne Gacy? Which I did do, by the way. So I guess we'll see. Anyway, the point.
So guys, you can now go to, is the link in the description? The link's not in the description. Where's the fucking website? Here it is. Guys, you can now go to Does Ethan Klein Look Like John Wayne Gacy.com. Interesting proposition here, just floating that one. I'm a long-time viewer of H3. I even own a Teddy Fresh hoodie, although I've only been wearing it at home after my friends made fun of me for it. But recently something happened that entirely changed my perspective on the H3H3 show. When I was watching the podcast on the living room TV, I was watching the podcast on the living room TV when my roommate walked past and said, "Hey, that guy looks like John Wayne Gacy." At first, I thought she was joking, but I remembered that she's a white woman. If she knows anything, it's true crime. And sure enough, a quick Google search yielded some undeniable results. At first, I thought the similarities were minor, surface-level stuff. A round face, shadowy caterpillar of a mustache, creepily elongated ears. But I kept searching and started to realize that these similarities were much deeper. Both are comedians and entertainers. Both are active in politics. And above all, the eyes. Those same beady, brownish, lifeless eyes. The eyes of a man who is capable of anything. Consider the implications of this. Officially, John Wayne Gacy was executed for his crimes, or so we're told. Could it be? Could Ethan be a serial killer? Or worse, gay? No, it's not possible. Or is it? Now, I'm not Snarkbrain, so I'm not going to make the claim that Ethan Klein murders and sexually assaults children. That would be insane. But it would be equally insane to pretend that the chances of that are zero. Really makes you think. So you go, guys, you can go to Does Ethan Klein Look Like John Wayne Gacy.com in the chat there. And guys, now is a great time. I think we'll get to the end of this first.
Point is, this whole thing between Ethan and Hassan, it was never about Israel or Palestine. It was never really about harassment. This was always about a 40-year-old former online hero who torments himself over what people online are saying about him, and who completely loses his mind over not having control over it. He's been losing subscribers and obsessively coming up with massive conspiracy theories to explain why, instead of facing the obvious, which is that he pretends to be honest and stand up for things. But he's a giant crybully whose only principle is self-preservation, and he'll sell you any lie that he can to try to uphold it, which makes Ethan
a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. A fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
For his efforts, Ethan Klein's the winner of our first Weasley Little Liar Award, the Sort of a Piece of Shit Award.
Wow.
Mazel tov. So you'd probably think that vexatious lawsuits, lying, doxing, and harassing smaller figures into silence would be met with widespread condemnation online. But actually, Ethan is surrounded by a gang of similarly dishonest creators who've been clapping like seals at somebody who has the time and the money to go after his son and his orbit. These people have a variety of motivations. Some of them are clout hungry, some of them feel personally slighted by Hassan, and some of them are perhaps just mentally disabled. But all of them deserve to be recognized for helping usher in this new online meta, where there are no standards of behavior whatsoever, as long as the person on the other side is named Hassan Piker. Time for the awards ceremony. Let's take a look at Cameron F305.
Wow. There we go, guys. So that is the end of a first big segment, really, of the Ethan part of the video. Not even halfway through yet.